Hello, I hope things are going well with you. Before we start talking about evil granddad here, man, he does not look good. He just doesn't look good. Let's talk about some fascists here in the United States of America. We're going to bring it back old school here. This is from, I'm going to show you a clip. This is from the 1998 Christian movie, Pamela's Prayer. Pamela gives her dad one last call before she consummates her marriage with Frederick. She's calling her dad before she loses her virginity to her. It sounds crazy, but this is a short clip. Don't worry, we're going to get to the news. But this is just so crazy I had to show it to you. Let's check this out.
I just want to pray with you one more time.
Okay. If it's all right with Frederick.
It is. Dad, this time, let me pray.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for my daddy.
Evangelical Christians can be pretty creepy. If that didn't creep you out a little bit. And did you get the impression that the dad was making some kind of supreme sacrifice by letting his daughter lead prayer? That he's like, oh no, I'm not going to be too popular. I can't let people know that I'm going to let my daughter lead prayer here. It's nuts. All right. Back to the main event, everyone. What's the name of this? Why Putin will likely lose in Ukraine and how he can win, right? Or how he could win. Let's just go about, oh man, this guy just does not look good. I mean, maybe these are the best pictures. Maybe these are the best pictures that Putin can take right now, because he does not look all there. You know, people talk about Joe Biden not being all there. Look at this guy. Jeez. Like the lights are on, but no one's home. Ukraine war. Putin preparing for long-haul U.S. intelligence says. Yeah, we'll take a look at this article. The link to the full article is in the description below. But Putin, and whoever is telling Putin that his country can deal with a long war, they are just lying. They are lying. They're willfully ignorant. They're just delusional. Let's check out the story. Vladimir Putin is preparing for a long war in Ukraine, with even victory in the east potentially not ending the conflict. U.S. intelligence has warned. The warning comes as fierce fighting continues in the east, where Russia is trying to take territory. Moscow refused its troops on capturing the Donbas region after Ukraine resisted attempts to take its capital, Kyiv. But despite this, its forces remain in a stalemate, U.S. intelligence said. However, the Russian president could turn to more drastic means if the conflict continues, although Moscow would only use nuclear weapons if Mr. Putin perceived an existential threat to Russia. Existential threat to Russia can be interpreted as an existential threat to Vladimir Putin. All right. In the latest fighting, Ukraine claims to have recaptured 4 settlements in the northeastern Kharkiv region. And also these other secondary towns were also snatched back from Russia, Ukraine's armed forces said. So the talk is that Putin is ready and Russia is ready for a long war. And why is that doomed to failure? We've covered this before, but I love showing you all this infographic, and it's important to cover the basics, right? This is what the global GDP, this is how large economies were in 2021. You see the United States at about 23 trillion. You see France somewhere hovering around 3 trillion. You see the UK, you see Germany at 4.23 trillion, and Russia, little Russia, all the way down in the bottom. Do you see how big Russia is? Russia's economy, what is it? I think between France, the UK, and Germany, I think those three countries have an economy approximately 10 times the size of Russia. That's not even including the United States of America. And it's important, once again, to go over the basics. In long wars of attrition, it's the economy, it's the country or the alliance that has a more resilient economy. It's more likely to win, whether you're talking about the North versus the South in the US Civil War, whether you're talking about the Central Powers in World War I versus the Allied power, the Entente powers, once again in World War I, or if you're talking about the Axis powers in World War II. The losers had a weaker economy, they had a less resilient economy, and by and large, those will be the losers. And right now, Russia looks like it's going to lose a long war. It's not what they planned for, and you can see a lot of and you can see they have lack of logistics. The weapons aren't working that well. They have poor army organization. It's almost as if this pile of crap, right, that they have in terms of the armed forces of Russia, it's built on a really crappy foundation, which is the economy of Russia. Now then, you can ask yourself, how could the Russians win? How could? Because Vladimir Putin is hoping that there'll be fractures within the alliance. Now you may say, Andy, oh, thank you, David Paul, throwing in some shekels here. Thank you, David. It's there are times that I just get caught up talking about fascism that I just don't pay attention to the chat, and I'm sorry about that. But thank you for the super chat. How can Vladimir Putin actually win? So, much like that guy with a mustache during World War II, you know, leader of the Reich, Mr. Adolf Hitler, he was hoping, you know, in 43, 44, 45, that the Allies would turn against each other, that the English and the Americans would turn against the Soviet Union, right? And so Putin has a similar hope. He has a hope that the Allies, the Europeans, will turn against each other, or that maybe the United States of America will stop supporting Ukraine. Now, why would the United States of America stop supporting Ukraine? Because if that happened, that dramatically increases the chances of Vladimir Putin winning. Why would the U.S. drop its support for the country of Ukraine? Could it? Oh, that's the reason. Look at Vladimir Putin. He seems happy as a clam. I don't know why clams are happy, but this man seems exceptionally happy next to his idiot puppet. So, all right. We all know that former President Trump is exactly that, the former president. But there are the midterm elections coming. And when you think about it, Donald J. Trump still owns the Republican Party, basically. And we're going to talk about that in a second or two, about the newest, some of the primaries that occurred last night. But let's look at Joe Biden's approval rating right now. How popular is Joe Biden? Well, Joe Biden's not helping the Democrats. Well, at least his approval rating isn't. And as we all know, statistically speaking, it's probable that Republicans are going to be in charge of the House, and there's a good chance that they're going to be in charge of the Senate too. So what are the chances that the party that is run by Putin Jr. there on the left, that they are going to support the Ukraine? What are the chances that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, right, or Gates are going to support funding for Ukraine once the Republicans are in power? That's not very likely. So here it goes. this is a little bit of good news. Trump's candidate in Nebraska in the primary did lose last night. Why did he lose? Because it turned out he was a groper. Omaha, Nebraska. Republican voters in Nebraska picked Jim Pillen, that's how I'm pronouncing his name, as their nominee for governor on Tuesday, siding with the University of Nebraska region, backed by the state's outgoing governor, over a rival supported by former President Donald Trump and accused of groping multiple women. Is it surprising that former President Trump supported a candidate that just groped women, that was accused of groping women multiple times? I don't think so. And here's a bit of sunshine, everyone, is that the fact that Trump's candidate in Nebraska lost, but there was more than one primary last night. And so that gives us some hope, possibly, that maybe Republicans won't sweep the midterm election. A Trump candidate in West Virginia for the House did win. And you can see that right there. The link to all the stories and also the infographic is in the description below. So how can Putin lose the war? Well, he just has to keep, he's going to lose the war if he keeps going the way that he's going, right? How can Putin win the war? It's by having Donald Trump's flying monkeys take control of the House and the Senate. And maybe that's why Putin's still in the fight. Maybe Putin is keeping one eye towards November. If he can keep the fight going effectively until November and the Republicans get in, right? They get sworn in, then maybe that will cause enough dissension that support for Ukraine will just vanish, or at least become low enough that he can actually win. All right. After party, after show starts at 3 minutes? Less than 3 minutes. That's on the other channel. If you want to be on the panel, the link is in the description below. If you just want to check out the show, it's an open room for Democrats, atheists, and progressives. The link to the channel, the Naked Diner podcast channel, is down there too. Look, everyone, there's no ads here on this show, but if you do want to support us in the royal sense of us, you can become a YouTube member. You can do a super chat, like, once again, David Paul, thanks a lot for the super chat. You can become a patron. We can do any of those things. And if you can't do that, then please like and share the video, or at least tell a friend about the show. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to about 9:15. I'm going to drop a cat video, and then I'm going to drop a thank you video for patrons and YouTube members. And then I hope to see you at 9:15 on the open room, right? I think that's the plan, everyone. I'll see you in a bit, hopefully. And if I don't see you in a couple of minutes, then hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.